So, since a kid, like I say, I found out at college that I was quite badly dyslexic. But since childhood, really, I just made everybody laugh, and making people laugh made me happy. Seeing them smiling happy made me happy. And so being a crowd pleaser, that's what I did. That's how I made friends, because I was happy to make a joke about myself, never taking myself that serious, and, showing that you can't really bully me, because everything you can say bad about me, I can say 10 times worse, so you can call me Specky Four Eyes and I'll be like, okay, is that really all you've got? Because, God, have you seen my ass? Have you seen how fat my ass is? Blah, 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 blah. And it just, from then, was my defense mechanism for life. So, making people laugh though, like I said, made me happy. In return, if I could make one person who was probably having a shit day or a sad day or whatever just smile and be happy, then I'd made my day. And same as like letting them know that they're not alone either. I've shared quite a lot of my personal issues that most people wouldn't tell their second best friend. Maybe tell their best friend, but not their second best friend. And I'm telling YouTube with random people I have no clue. And because I don't want you to feel alone, I don't want you to feel how I did when I found out, being in this wheelchair full time was causing incontinence issues, causing problems with my spine. So I look for comedy, and that's how I get through. That's how I make my day. However, I had a strange phone call with one of my best friends, where we spoke about, is it okay to make jokes about being disabled? And I think, like I'd said, like with them, I think it's who is saying the jokes and how, knowing your crowd, how you're saying it, what the joke is. Like it's not just black and white. You can't say that's wrong and this is right, because in this setting that might work and in this setting it's not. And you're gonna offend. I think with comedy, unfortunately, with anything, it's not just comedy. I mean, God, racial beliefs, religious beliefs, everything that we are diverse about, which makes this world such a great place, because we're all so different, it's going to offend somebody. My beliefs on anything, the best way to make bread, my beliefs and this is the best recipe and this is the best bread, isn't always going to be the same as yours. You might be like, that is awful, that is the worst I've ever tried, you have got to try this. And I'll try that and I'll be like, I don't like it. And you're going to offend somebody by saying mine's the best, or and you don't mean it. And this is where our lines crossed. And I was like, if it's malice, comedy, or they think it's, I don't like where you, the comedy where it's at somebody else's expense. The comedy when it's like, well, we can all agree we do this or that, it's quite funny. That's everyone, including myself. But is comedy okay? Is it okay to make a joke about disability? Anyway, what made me think about this video, in fact, you can tell it's a touchy subject because I'm fidgeting. So I like, keeping up, like I said, with the amputee community because you learn so much, and I am still so fresh and new in this game. And also you feel pride for somebody you've seen and how their journey's going, when they share something that they've done today that is amazing. You have this pride for them, like you're their friend, and you're so proud that they got their blade and they started to run. So it's, it's quite a close knit. Anyway, there's a show which I love on Facebook, and if you are an amputee or family of an amputee or whatever, and you want to join, it's the Amputee Shit Show. And basically the woman that runs the page is so blatantly honest. Like, there's no airs and graces. This is what it is, and that's that. And it says so. It says it in the thing is Amputee Shit Show. It's the honest truth about some of it. Some of this is shit, but that's life. Some of life is shit, whether you've got one leg or two or four in my case, because some are still in my bedroom and one's at the hospital being made right now. So, and I love how honest she is about situations. And I've been in some dark places, and things like watching that has brought me out, because it can be quite comical, and then there's another lady who happens to be on YouTube on here, so Footless Joe. I love it. I love watching. Little bit jealous when she got her blade and did her first run-in. I was like, oh, go girl, but also like, I still want one of them. And I've been a bit behind recently with what I normally keep up with. So I would normally watch her videos when she brings out a new one, as much as I can. And she has like a Patreon page, and you can help the like her channel keep going by paying towards the page. And I don't have money at all, but I will watch your videos and support you in my own way, and I do share them on my Facebook personal page when I'm like, yes, and I agreed with her with a video she did, and it was just saying, so there's another influencer on TikTok, and it's Stevie IOE, IOE, and he's in Scrubs explaining some, like, in quite a few, where he comes across that he's a doctor or a nurse, and what happens when you would have an internal, or what would, and there was 3 videos on this video she made, like 3 of his TikToks. One was like an internal, one was what would happen if you came in to say, like, to the, basically all 3 were if you came into the ER, what we would do. And the way he says, like what we would do, you would and he's in Scrubs and everything, you kind of think, well, he's medical and he's saying what we would do, as in what we the hospital, what we the nurses, or what we the doctors would do. And I mean, he was like, you can lose your phone, suicidal, gonna come in, we're gonna take you seriously, you're gonna lose your phone, you're gonna go into a gown, and you're gonna lose your toilet rights to go on your own, and we're gonna take your bra, include your phone, everything, so you can't harm yourself. But just the way he did it was so crass. It was so, I can't even put into words. Like, I'm with her. I was really like, what? And it turns out, so this guy is a influencer, but he's a comedian. So this is supposed to be comedy. And I'm not saying this isn't comedy. I'm just saying, like, there's no warnings on the thing, like, that he isn't a doctor or nurse. So if you'd have just clicked on and you're watching that and he's saying what we do at the ER, or what we would do when you come into the ER, what we would do if you needed a pelvis exam, what we would do if you were suicidal, what we do if we can't figure out what's wrong with you. And they were the 3 examples she used, so that's what I'm using for you, and thousands of followers. And I'm not saying cancel, because that's, but like she said, maybe there should be a warning that, you know, this guy's a comedian, not a doctor or a nurse or whatever. And I mean, because you guys have got the ER, we've got, you know, A&E, and things are very different between different countries. So, you know, you pay for your prosthetic legs and you get amazing stuff, and I'm a little bit jealous of that. But then I wouldn't have a leg if I lived in America, because right now I don't have a job. So the swings and roundabouts, you know. And I agreed with her, and like she was saying, she's not trying to be a Karen about it, you know, like, but maybe just a warning on the videos that when he's on about what we would do in ER, what happens when you come into an ER, it should be that this is entertainment or drama video, not knowledge, not education. Because on ER, you know, on YouTube you can find out from doctors, nurses, you know, advice. And a lot of people do turn to that, especially since the pandemic. I mean, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but for me, trying to get through to the doctors, the GP surgery, is a nightmare. And trying to get an appointment, even worse. So if there is something wrong with you, you know, they always say don't Google your symptoms because it comes back the worst case scenario. But right now, this might be the only option you've got. It's like, you know, Google what you've got, try and cut it out yourself, and if anything goes wrong, you're going to have to go to the ER. But you're not going to get to see a doctor. End of. That's not medical advice, by the way. So, you know, and I agree, you know, like we have the warnings like don't try this at home if something's dangerous, or if there's pus and, you know, blood and guts and stuff, and we have like this age appropriate warnings. So we should really have that on TikTok as well. I know recently, you know, my daughter, she's likes to have a bit of a nose on YouTube and TikTok now and again, and you know, she likes this animated thing that, and at the minute they're showing bombs and explosions and stuff because of Russia and Ukraine. So that shocked me, and we had to sit down and have a conversation about all of that, you know. But again, no warning, no, you know, all of a sudden you think you're watching this little bit of a cartoony thing, and the next thing, and they're all about whose side are you on, Russia or Ukraine? And she's like, I don't know what's going on right now. Whose side are we on? And can you explain it? And that was, yeah. And Joe, you know, she said, you need to know your audience and place and content. You know, you're going to offend somebody with comedy. It just happens. That's my life. I offend people all the time, but I don't mean to. I'm not heartless, and I think that's the difference. Is I will apologize if I'm wrong, and I will apologize if I hurt somebody, because I never do malice, nothing like that. You know, my idea is just to make people laugh, because I know that when I'm laughing, and it's contagious, so it spreads a bit of love. And if I'm laughing, I'm not crying, you know. like time and place I understand, and you never get it right all the time. And I'm going to tell you one. So obviously, you know, I'm an amputee, and I signed the paperwork. I'm going to lose my leg. I'm ready for surgery, and they've drawn the arrow on and blah blah blah. But I don't know why or how, but in the back of my head, I'm like, well, if they could, and they realised they could save the leg, maybe they will. You know, like, you never know. You know, especially in the hospitals where I'm around. You know, you go in for a boob job, you lose a kidney. You go in for a facelift and you come out with a butt lift or a boob job, and you're like, I suppose, you know, you get what you paid for. But anyway, so I go in, I have the surgery, I'm half awake, like obviously coming round from all the medication, not a good time for me really. And then I remember the nurse very loudly, so I obviously wasn't that responsive. Was like, Heather, and she's like rubbing on me, and she's like, you're awake now and everything went okay, so we're just moving you to the ward now, okay, is everything okay? And probably wrong place, but in my head I thought it was. So I just said to her, like, did it go okay? That's all I need to know. And she was like, yeah, everything went fine, everything went okay. And I was like, did they take it? And she's like, pardon? And I was like, well, you know, did they take it? Is it gone now? Is it gone? And she leans in and she's like, Heather, do you know what surgery you went in for today? This little demon in my head was like, let's play a game. So me, stupidly, and again, bear in mind I'm on a lot of medication. So I was like, yeah, you know, I had my kidney out. How's my sister? Did she, you know, accept it okay? Is she going to be on the same ward as me? You know, any chance we could be next to each other in the bed? Like 2 beds next to each other on the ward. And this nurse went grey. And then she was like, I'm just going to get, you do know what, I'm just going to get the doctor. I'm just going to get the doctor over. And she's panicking at this point, which is where I went, no, I mean, I'm joking, did they take the leg? Is it gone now? That's sorted. And she wasn't impressed in the slightest. So I know I've got it wrong many a time, but this one really did get me thinking, because all of my jokes are about disability. But my disability, not disability in general, just my body, my life. I don't make jokes about, you know, haven't got a leg to stand on. But I do think it's funny that, like, I do stand-up comedy in a wheelchair because I can't stand up. You know, just little minor things. And a lot of it, like I said, is my life. My general, you couldn't write it. Like the other day, I get a new car. The old car wouldn't start. I have to get the RAC out to fix the old car that I'm supposed to be taking back in, like, already be back to be driving my new car. The next day, this carried on. So I'm at home now with the new car on my drive, done. I'm thinking, that's it, then it's done, sorted. I can take off the leg because it seriously is hurting at this point. And no, so the next morning I wake up, I'm a bit still, you know, tired from the experience of the day before, but I'm over it. Open the post, and there's the, like, documents for the car, more paperwork, and I just happened to have a nose, because normally I'm like, I'm not reading that, dyslexic anyway, gonna get confused, I'll just put it to one side, you know, mum will read that or whatever. Anyway, open the thingy, open the post, and it's the insurance documents and the paperwork, and the registration isn't the registration that's on the car outside, and I am hoping that the paperwork's wrong, like, not because I liked the registration. I thought it was really cool for me. And I know I'm 30 and shouldn't use that word, but I really liked it. And yeah, so I rang up and I'm like, sorry, you got the wrong registration, because the one on the car is da 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 da. So this isn't that. There's just one letter wrong. And basically, on the car was a D and on the paperwork was a P. And I'm hoping she misheard it, so I haven't got to do anything else other than get in the car and drive when I want to. No, wrong registration. The plates need changing. So technically I should have had to then, fix it, drive all the way back and get the new plates put on, and then I'm just sorted. So it still didn't end that day. And literally, anyway, the guy was absolutely amazing, not gonna lie. He came straight out once the plates were made, and he put the plates on that should have been on my drive, which he was embarrassed about the whole mess up in the first place, so I was really, really grateful. But like I said, I can't help, it's like when someone says something to me, I just think of a quick comeback and it comes out of my mouth before I've even said anything. And again, with my jokes, I make jokes about being disabled because it makes people think, in my eyes. One, I'm making people laugh. Two, I'm making jokes that make people feel like, I'm telling my story, basically, my life story. And hopefully in that, somebody can relate and go, oh, geez, I'm not the only one. Phenomenal. But also, I'm trying to make people think. So the whole jokes about wheelie bins is to try and make people think, yeah, if the wheelie bin wasn't there, like, how can I, when you look at the street on your wheelie bin, like looking at the street, you can go, wow, how's a wheelchair going to get down there? Like, how's a wheelchair supposed to move down there now? I get what she's saying. Just, and that's, but yeah, it did throw me, because I get what Joe's saying, time and a place, and you don't always get it right with comedy. You don't. I don't get it right with my life many a time, and I know what she's saying about, Stevie, I-O-U, whatever, I-U-E. Look at this, Stevie, I-O-E. Mate, just stop saying we or something, or just put a sign across your things that, like, you're just telling jokes and, making it funny about going to the ER, because there's nothing wrong with it. Well, it's a little bit insensitive, but if you said it was comedy, people might view it differently. I don't know. And everybody likes different types of comedy anyway, so, a lot of people are going to still love your stuff, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But watching that, and then Joe saying she doesn't like comedy at all because, it does trigger people if you're telling the wrong kind of jokes. And I don't know where I fit, because I tell jokes all the time, personal and not, I'm forever. It's just the way my brain works. But is it okay to make a joke about being disabled? And I don't know where I sit with that. I don't know how I feel around that. I'd love to know your feedback, please. Write in the comments. And let me know where you sit and feel with it. Be interesting.